Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And with CDL Stage 4 just around the corner, we were of course expecting some significant map set updates to come into effect. They have indeed done, maybe not quite to the extent we were expecting them to, but still, some teams benefit from this, some teams certainly aren't going to be too happy about this. Intrigued to hear your thoughts on all of it in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, thought this was pretty funny from On This Day, way back in 2016, if you guys watched Black Ops 3 Competitive. It was certainly a good time. Uplink is just one of those game modes that doesn't seem to get old. But right here, Facento with the ball running down the left-hand side, I think the satellite it used to technically be called, chucks it straight into the rock right here. Doesn't end up too well for him in a league play match way back in the day. Let's talk about this then. So first of all, just wanted to mention a couple of these teams that maybe have made some changes. This first of all from the Dallas Empire. They've of course been making some moves. Vivid's come into their team. CDL Scrimtel right now, talking about the results that they've had scrimming up against some of these amateur teams. Had a 2-3 map cap result right here up against Easter yesterday, so some of these maps pretty close. They won Apocalypse relatively comfortably early on. The Dallas clearly, well, you know, maybe they're obviously trying to make some improvements, no doubt about that. I mean, they're probably looking at this whole Huke situation right now and thinking, well, maybe it's a good idea we got rid of him if he's still causing issues on teams going forward. Still kind of mind blown at that move, no doubt about it. This from the subliners as well. They've been continuing their wrecking ball in the hard points. I mean, Apocalypse and Raid, especially up against UT Crew, they've a pretty good time on some of these maps, certainly close, but they win this, scrim set to our understanding in a 7-0 fashion right here. And speaking of the subliners, these were their stage 3 cards from Lion Man. I mean, honestly, like all across the board, very impressive stuff. Clayso with some ridiculous stats, but also Hydroid. Hydra's the one that deserves mention right here. He has a 1.29 in hardpoint. His kills per 10 minutes, his damage per 10 minutes for his role are absolutely stellar. And in Search and Destroy, despite having a rough start, finishes it off the stage with a 1.10 in Search, which is, yeah, very impressive. No doubt about it. Very well, a very exciting team to watch going forward, especially because we're going to get subliners versus Ultra coming up this stage, which we really haven't seen since these teams became good. So very much looking forward to when that one does, of course, transpire. This is what occurs yesterday then. Welcome standoff to the CDL 2021 Search and Destroy map rotation in place of Checkmate Search and Destroy. So we did wonder what they were going to do right here, what the pros were actually going to get up to, because yes, we knew they were going to make some sort of changes. Of course, yeah, they need some time to decide what's going to happen. And with this All-Star weekends, did they quite have the time to decide, okay, is it good enough for hardpoint? Is it actually going to work for control? Maybe not. And maybe for stage 5, things could still change. We've talked about the fact that Hijacked might be coming back. Some other maps might be coming back. Maybe they could work for other certain game modes, control, search and destroy, something like that. Because still, I think a lot of people would say we're one search and destroy map away from making this the perfect S&D map rotation. At the same time, you're looking at hardpoints and thinking, okay, good standoff have worked for that, because I was certainly expecting it to work for that. And clearly the pros think, okay, the spawn's a little bit dodgy. We have 5 decent maps in hardpoint right now, so maybe not worth the risk, and maybe we haven't quite got the time to try it out. And for the for the developers to change some of these spawns around, they've decided not to go down that direction. But first of all, let's talk about the whole search and destroy thing. It's okay, standoff is in for Search. Checkmate is gone. Now, this is interesting, right? Because the discussion was Checkmate or Miami, which one should go? Now, yes, I mean, we saw Dashy and some other players talking about it the other day. I mean, Arcitys and co saying, okay, well, look, Miami, it's tough to see anyone. There's so many crazy spots on the map that are very annoying. But at the same time, you can actually plant both bomb sites on it. Checkmate Search and Destroy has been a B-bomb site map for the entire game. You just sit inside the plane, you take some gunfights in the plane. If you win the gunfights, you get the bomb down, you probably win the round. I mean, there are some pretty intense games on Checkmate, but largely they're pretty dull. And honestly, Miami, maybe you could argue it's pretty similar. The visibility isn't great, but in theory, like as an actual theoretical search and destroy map, Miami is better than Checkmate, just because you actually can plant both bomb sites at the very least. So Checkmate is gone. Now, I thought that actually the pros might decide to get rid of Miami here, just because a lot of the pros like Checkmate. They play it a lot. It's very much, it's highly played in the search and destroy rotation, and some of the top teams actually got very good at it lately. Maybe that's why it's gone, right? Because even say some of the bottom tier teams play Checkmate relatively often. At least, well, if you're looking at a team like FaZe, they've just started to play it. They're now 7-1. You might be thinking, okay, if you're another team, right, let's get rid of Checkmate just because they're so good at it. And Miami is actually one of the worst search and destroy maps. I'm pretty sure it is FaZe's worst S&D map. So certainly, there is maybe some other motives here for these pro teams other than just what they're good at. They might have been thinking, okay, well, we need to stop FaZe somehow, and maybe getting rid of Checkmate Search and Destroy is a potential answer. As Parasite says right here, glad to see standoff in for Checkmate. We still need something to replace Miami, or at the very least make it smaller and change the lighting, bro. God damn, I think they did make it somewhat better here. So, well, Decemate saying in replies that bringing Standoff in for Miami instead, get Checkmate back in the rotation. Who knows what will change going into Stage 5 potentially, but as I say, doesn't seem like any other map will be perfect for Search and Destroy right now to replace Miami. I do wonder if they are going to bring back some other, OG maps. I mentioned Meltdown the other day I would like to see, or, some other maps, maybe from Black Ops 3, there could be one that even works in there somewhere. I'd love to see like a Stronghold remake that, maybe, I don't know how they would do it with some like ladders or something or steps to make that map work, but I personally absolutely love that map back in the day. I don't think it would be too bad with some alterations to make that work in a non-jetpack title, let's just say. But who knows exactly what they are planning to do. This I thought was interesting from Spinner Spence over at the League Ops when he says that this is officially the most diverse map pool in history now, with 8 maps in total across everything, which is pretty cool to see, all things considered, at least in the CDL era. So yes, okay, new maps into the game, nice stuff. Not happening for Hardpoint as of yet, but still, the implications of this for what teams get better and worse with Checkmate, Search and Destroy gone are very interesting indeed. This, as Random and Stats says right here, Checkmate, Search and Destroy map records. Thankfully, we get to see no more Checkmate S&Ds for the rest of the season. Pretty glorious stuff, to be honest. So I guess we will see, as a result, more Miamis, but probably we'll see more standoffs, which I think is a win for everyone in the competitive Call of Duty community. So really, on Checkmate, there's 2 teams that have actually been good at it. OpTic certainly at 6-2, and since FaZe started playing it relatively recently, they are 7-1. So as I say, if you're one of these teams down here, you're probably thinking, okay, if I have a choice, what do I get rid of, Checkmate or Miami? I might not be so good on either maps. Let's just get rid of Checkmate because it harms FaZe the most. Now, the thing is with FaZe, that they have a lot of other maps they're pretty damn good at. OpTic is a bit of a question mark though, because OpTic are 6-2 on this map. Every other Search and Destroy map, they're pretty weak on all things considered. So we can have a look at the stats right here, courtesy of GG Breaking Point. This, of course, are FaZe's stats so far this season. Pretty outrageous, to be honest. Like 30-15 in Hardpoint, 27-14 in Surge, 22-7 in Control. And well, these are their statistics. Now on Checkmate, they're 7-1 in Surge. As you can see, Express, they're 3-6. Garrison, they were 2-0 before that got removed as well. Miami, they're 2-3. Raid, they're 5-4. And Moscow, they're 8-0, right? So that's the thing. You get rid of Checkmate from the map set, they still have Moscow. If you're playing these guys in a match, you're probably still going to ban out Moscow. But then, to be fair, at least you don't have to play one or the other. Because that was the thing if you're playing FaZe, that you had to play either Checkmate or Moscow in a series, because you can only really ban one. They're going to pick the other one, and you're pretty much guaranteed an L at that point in one of the Search and Destroys. Now that's no longer the case if you just ban out their Moscow and give them a go on some of these other maps. Of course, with Standoff coming in, who knows how good they'll be at Standoff. Maybe they'll just be incredible on it. But still, there's some backups here in these series for FaZe to go going forwards. However, OpTic find themselves in somewhat of an interesting spot, given the fact that, okay, this season they're 16-15 in their Search and Destroys. On Checkmate, they were 6-2. Express 2-2. Garrison, they were 0-1, then that got removed. Miami, they played it once against FaZe early on in the season, have never touched it again. They always ban that out of the game. So Moscow and Raid are the other one. So they're going to need to either be very good at standoff, or they're going to need to improve their Raid somewhat, really, because Moscow is another solid map for OpTic, no doubt. But 6-5 isn't exactly 8-0 like FaZe have, so still, I think for OpTic have one of the more interesting questions here, the fact that, okay, Checkmate is gone. They need to find themselves another kind of stronghold Search and Destroy map that they can come to on a pretty semi-regular basis and beat teams relatively comfortably if they find themselves in that spot. So I'm pretty sure they're going to be looking to get very good at standoff here, because a Search and Destroy, a comfortable Search and Destroy map set is incredibly important, especially if you want to win these championships, right? Because you look at the Major, in the best of 9 in the Grand Finals, there are 4 Search and Destroys. How easy is it to beat FaZe in 4 Search and Destroys if you are going to play them in the Grand Finals? And FaZe have made every Grand Final so far. It's not easy by any means. You need a very deep and diverse S&D map pool, and with Checkmate gone, OpTic certainly need to find that if they want to, well, contend for, and then actually win these championships going forwards. So really interesting. RCT's not necessarily too happy about it. When you learn how to play the map and they take it away from you, thought there was some funny replies here from Octane saying, look, learn how to play the map. What do you even mean? Just hit the plate every single round, Simp and aBeZy, and get some kills inside there. Let's also talk about the hardpoint side of things, though, of course, given the fact that, well, hardpoint is not going to be changing for this stage. Money Hill stats in stage 3. Thought this is a really interesting statistics, actually, from Round 11 stats. So this is the percentage of hardpoints that, well, one team scores 40 or more points on that hill. Apocalypse kind of interesting, given that everyone says that P2 on the map is so hard to break, but actually, P5 people score more time on average. And then look at Raid, right? This is like a, well, such a fundamental Search and Destroy map in a sense. The fact that, okay, Kitchen, Garage, and then Basketball, every, teams are scoring on 60% of the times 40 or more points on those hills, which is kind of crazy. If you can string these together and get a nice break, you can get so much time on this map, and I wonder how it would look for Standoff if it does come in. But yeah, we'll have to see if changes happen before Stage 5, because after Stage 5, it's going to be locked certainly through Stage 5 and then the World Championship, I would imagine, at the very least. This is what Doug says as well, given there has been some talk about maybe Crossroads bringing that back, at least for something like Hardpoint, you could say. The old Crossroads as well, the older rotations. I think the fact that, well, where the hill is right now, down low where the A-bomb is, a little bit suspect for sure, but of course, Center absolutely frying back here on the 27th of January, looking for Crossroads to come back into the map set, and I thought some bros actually were talking about this, bringing back Crossroads for Hardpoint, for example, for some of these maps that aren't necessarily so good. People have been complaining a little bit about Apocalypse. Garrison as well hasn't really been the biggest fan, I think, a lot of the pro teams at the present time, so again, I thought maybe Standoff would come in for one of those or another. Doesn't seem to be happening. I don't really think the pros want Crossroads back either. This was kind of a chaotic map when it was in the game. Search and Destroy KD as well, given we were talking about Search. Thought this is really impressive actually from a number of these players, especially Octane, given that typically Octane Search and Destroy hasn't been particularly good. He has a 1.25 this season. aBeZy, I mean, a 1.19. Like, what could you not say about this guy? But Scump also with a 1.16. That's really impressive. Dashy up here as well. Simp here has a 1.12. And yeah, some other, I mean, honestly, look at the FaZe guys, right? You've got aBeZy, Simp, and Cellium all here with the top 10 players in terms of Search KD. That is a pretty scary thing to see, all things considered. This I thought was pretty funny from Scraps as well. Just got backplaying on our CDL accounts and mid P3 rotation or whatever map. I turned into a big brown box like I was playing prop band, so maybe some of the glitches that we might see, I mean, I think it'd be pretty funny to see, but it would mean, of course, a technical delay, I imagine, at the very least, if this does or something happen like this in the CDL matches that we see for Stage 4. And well, speaking, of course, of Stage 4, we are going to have a LAN environment right at the end of Stage 4 for the championship at that stage, the Stage 4 Major, Stage 5 Major, and beyond. These were some of the scenes from this tournament that was held this weekend. I believe it was put on by eZone Media. Congratulations to these guys for taking down the W, but of course, well, overshadowed to some degree by the absolute madness that was going on in this LAN environment. I think this is kind of blowing up on Twitter the last couple of days. Like, you know, nature is healing. People are getting hyped at LAN again like this. I mean, you know, just unbelievable scenes. Some incredible top tier Call of Duty content, you know, as it tends to be. Well, I guess yeah, I'll leave the links in the comment section below if you guys would like to check it out in greater detail. But intriguing your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube rockers and that you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.